Hey, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Steam 2 video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a build for the Warlock that I think is going to be amazing in Renegades. This build uses a lot of things that are getting buff, and it's going to allow us to have a bunch of survivability, constant ad clear, as well as constantly be able to spam grenades that do a lot of damage. If you're a big fan of grenade builds, I'm sure you're going to love this one, especially with all the changes coming soon. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you guys do, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already for some more Destiny content. So let's start off with the exotic, and for this build we're going to be using the Manacles. This is going to be all about throwing grenades, and the Manacles are the perfect gauntlets for that, especially with all the just buffs we're about to see in Renegades. These things are getting a lot of changes. These are literally all of them right here. Charge Grenade will now create more Seekers, so now you'll be able to do more damage with the Seekers, or seek different targets with them. You also get increased Charge Seeker damage against combatants by 25%, as well as increased Charge Seeker lifetime. Overall, the Seeker themselves and the grenades just overall with not the Manacles are just gonna be much better. They're also getting increased projectile speed, and now they also spawn an additional Scatter Grenade on Scatter Grenade kill. And this effect is gonna be able to chain. So the more enemies that you kill with your scatter grenades, the more Seekers they're gonna be creating, that they can spawn more Seekers, and if there's a lot of ads around, these things are gonna be fantastic. I feel like the charge grenades right now are pretty decent, you know, just okay. The tracking on them, it is kinda slow, but they do some pretty decent damage, especially when there's big groups of targets. But it's really gonna be just a ridiculous amount of just more damage, as well as the extra Seekers is definitely gonna help you just get a lot more grenades out there. I mean, you can already get this many grenades in a row out just with the current build, so it's gonna get even better than this. Oh, all of the Seekers went towards out. Now this build is mostly gonna be about the abilities, mostly about throwing a bunch of grenades out there, so our weapons are gonna have a lot of flexibility. So you don't really have to wear anything specific. Some void weapons would be nice. Just some good weapons in general, like Finale Auger will also be good. Things that give you grenades back faster. And of course, you know, the rocket pulse rifles. Just essentially good meta weapons will work really well into this build. Now for the subclass, we're gonna be keeping this on just regular Void Warlock. I think this is gonna work the best. Now for the super, this is gonna be something interesting, because like always, the big Nova Bomb is usually the go-to. It is really good, it does some really good damage, the Seekers are amazing, it's just a really good staple super in PVE. But the other two, the Nova Bomb Vortex as well as the Nova Warp, are both going to be getting some buffs. So that is something that you could run as well. The Nova Bomb is going to essentially just pull enemies throughout the whole duration towards it, so it's just constantly going to be pulling enemies towards it and just doing damage to them, which I definitely think could work really well depending on like how strong that pull actually is. And then Nova Warp is gonna get a lot of different things. First of all, charging the primary attack is actually gonna pull the enemies towards you, so you have an easier time like bunching up enemies and really get the most out of your Nova Warp. And it's also gonna improve the damage that you do with that primary attack by 15%. And whenever you use your blink, it'll release weakened Seekers that, just like the name says, will weaken targets. I don't know if that's really going to be enough to actually make Nova Warp good in PvE. It feels like Nova Warp never has really been that great. But if you want to give it a try, that is something you can do with this build. The super is not really going to matter too much, so any of them will be worth a try. I think I'm going to rerun it with Vortex just to see how those buffs work. But like I said, you could do this with any of the supers. Now for the Rift, they're both going to be pretty good. Now you're going to be able to actually cast it while moving. And the Healing Rift actually got a bit of an increase in size. It actually went from like 3.7 meters to 5 meters. So now it's actually able to cover like a bigger area, and you can like more comfortably fit with your teammates on the Rift. But the Empowering Rift is also going to be really good because it increases your melee and grenade recharge while standing in it by 20%. So you could just stand on your Rift and take advantage of that increased recharge and just throw grenades over and over and over again, essentially becoming a mortar. Now for the grenade, we of course have to go with the scatter grenade. This whole build kind of falls apart if we don't have the scatter grenade, so this is pretty much required. Now for the aspects, we're going to be bringing Chaos Accelerant as well as Feed the Void. Feed the Void is going to give us a bit more survivability through Devour. Whenever we get a kill with one of our abilities, it's going to activate Devour, which is going to constantly heal us whenever we get some kills, as well as give us some grenade energy back whenever we get some kills. So this is also going to add to use the amount of grenades that we're going to get out there, but it really is just to help us with survivability. Now Chaos Accelerant is what's going to let us charge our grenade to take advantage of all those charge grenade buffs, so it's going to make our grenades a lot deadlier, and it also gives an additional grenade charge, which is what lets us have those 3 grenade charges. So we're getting 1 from our exotic, 1 from this, and then the 1 that we have at base, we're going to be able to always essentially have a grenade. Now for the fragments, the first one we're going to have is going to be the Echo Harvest. Whenever we defeat weakened targets, it creates an orb of power, as well as a void breach. Because our grenades are always going to be weakening, this is something that we're always going to be proccing, just getting some more orbs and some more void breaches. After that, we have the Echo of Undermining, which is what's going to give our grenades that weaken. This one is actually getting a buff. Instead of just tanking our grenade by -20, it is only going to lower it by 10. So if you were struggling to get to like 200 grenade like I was, this is going to really help you, because it just means that it makes it a little bit easier to get there. On top of giving you the weaken towards the grenades, which is gonna, be essential to the build. After that, we have the Echo of Persistence, which is gonna improve our Devour timer. It's gonna make it so we can make it last a little longer, which means that it's just a lot easier to keep up, even between like fighting groups of enemies. And for the final one, you don't have to go with a specific one. I had the Echo Explosion here to make it so whenever we get some kills with our void abilities, we get even more explosions, meaning that we do even more ad clear. But it also works with some other ones, like the Echo of Instability. You want some volatile rounds every time you get some kills with your grenades. This works really well if you decide to go with some void weapons. But if not, if you want to go with something else, that is something you can do as well. You want more survivability, you have something like the Echo of Vigilance, so you get some overshields whenever you're low. This is essentially the slot that you can put anything into, and it's not really going to change the build. Echo of Provision is also another one that you can make work if you want some more melees. Another main stat that you want to focus on this build is of course going to be the grenade stat. You want to put as many points into that stat as you can, because the more points you have into it, the more damage your grenades are actually going to do. And after you put most of your points into grenade, then putting some into super, as well as weapons or class, is going to be a pretty good one as well. Now for the mods that you want to run this build, for the helmet, I recommend that you go with Ashes to Assets, meaning that whenever you get some grenade kills, you get a bit of extra super energy. Either a heavy ammo finder or a special ammo finder, depending on which weapon you're using a little bit more. If you're using the special more, then pick the special. If you're using the heavy more, pick the heavy. And then the harmonic siphon, if you do have a void weapon, most likely you are, so I definitely recommend that you have one of these. Now for your gauntlets, you want to go with bolstering detonation, momentum transfer, as well as firepower. Firepower is going to make it so we get more orbs whenever we get some kills with our grenades. And then momentum transfer and bolstering detonation are going to charge up our other 2 abilities, our melee and our class ability, whenever we do damage with the grenade. For the chest piece, it's going to be pretty normal. You basically just have your resistances, concussive dampener, sniper resistance, or maybe one of the specific elemental resistances. And then at the end here, I had harmonic resistance, but I could also change this. These, you can pretty much just change depending on the activity you're running. Don't really feel like you are locked on this one. Definitely change them around depending on what you're doing. For the boots, I was running Absolution, Better Already, and Innervation. So whenever we pick up some orbs, we get grenade energy, we get energy for all our abilities, and we also start health regen. You could also switch this to Recuperation if you actually ended up having a lot of health. If not, I recommend just Better Already. And lastly, for the class item, we have Double Bomber as well as a Reaper. So after we use our class ability, we get some grenade energy, as well as being able to make more orbs power, which is just going to help us. And those are the mods that we're running. Nothing really super special. We're keeping it pretty basic. We just want to get some more grenades out there, make lots of orbs, as well as getting you some more super energy so we can spam our super. And for the artifact, of course, is about to change. So none of these choices that we have on this current artifact really matter. But that's going to be a quick overview of a build that I think is going to work pretty well, and that you should definitely give a try once Renegades actually is here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to like, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone, have a good rest of your day, peace. Oh, the dim link is in the comments below, like always. I don't know how I forgot that. Peace, peace.